recorded.
Good afternoon, good morning, and welcome to the Mexico Knowledge Day webinar brought to you by the Department for International Trade, the Great British Food Programme and Business West. My name is Mark and I work for the events team here at DIT. Before we start today's webinar, here are some housekeeping points. If you're having any technical difficulties, please type them into the chat function on the right-hand side of your screen and direct them to the host, DITSW Events, and I will endeavour to help. If you have any questions, please type them into the Q&A tab. We have allowed time at the end for these to be answered. We will try our best to get through all of the questions, but those who are unable to answer, we will follow up after the event. Finally, please note this webinar will be recorded. I'm now pleased to introduce the Agritech and Food and Drink Lead in Mexico and LATAC, Ana Fernanda Romero. Over to you, Ana.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. I'm really pleased to be here with you. There's been a lot of work developed here between the team in the UK and Latin America in order to deliver this week for all of you and to gather more information about the region. As my colleague said, my name is Ana Romero, and I'm the head of the food and drink sector in Latin America. Welcome, everyone, to this fantastic week, and I hope that you really enjoy it. Now let's begin and talk about the fantastic opportunities that we have in Mexico. Next, please. Okay, can we go back to the former slide, please? Before I start, I wanted to make this a little bit more interactive. Please put in the chat box. I know it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon in the UK. Probably you've been going through a long Monday day, beginning of the week. So please put in the chat box if you believe that Mexico is part of North America. Let me check if I can see your answers. Thank you, Claudia. Yes.
So we've had a couple of no's.
Couple
of yeses.
Perfect. Thank you all for your participation. It means that you're here with me. Even though I can't see you, I know I can see your answers. Thank you, everyone. So next slide, please. As a matter of fact, yes, Mexico, as we can see in the first globe, Mexico is part of North America. We share a border with 53 border crossings with the U.S. So, and we're members of the USMCA, which is a free trade agreement between Mexico, U.S. and Canada. But the other important thing for you to know is that yes, we're part of North America, but also we're part of Latin America, as it is highlighted in the other map. So we speak Spanish, and we're part of this fantastic region. Why am I saying this to you? What we see and the feedback that we receive from importers or people that we introduce to is that there's a confusion within the UK stating that Mexico is not part of North America, that somehow Mexico is part of South America. Please remember that Mexico is not part of South America. So you can have that in mind in your conversations and actually avoid mentioning that, yeah, I want to go to the South America market, but you're speaking to Mexico. It's quite confusing for the people over here in Mexico. They really don't understand why companies in the UK are referring to South America, since we as Mexico do not belong to that region. Next slide, please. So let's have a glance of the country. So fairly recently we had the population census, and it seems that we are now 127 million. That's a lot of people over here in the market. It's a big market to get into. As a matter of fact, the states, member states of the European Union territories can fit in our territory in Mexico. But please keep in mind that only 30% of the population is the one that you would be targeting. As you probably know or not, this would be a good time. Just a second, I can see Anna, but I cannot see the slides. Can I ask the support team if there's anything that you can do for Caroline? Thank you. As I was saying, only 30% of the population would be your target. This population would be the families that actually have the income to buy imported products. And that all and from that 30%, around 10% of that population have already been to the UK. They know the brands, they've been to Europe, and somehow they have this nostalgia about their trips, and they want to buy the things that they actually knew while they were abroad. In economic terms, we're the second biggest economic market in Latin America. The first one is Brazil, and we are the 15th largest economy around the world. So we are an important market to have a look at. Next slide, please. More interactions from my side. Who is Mexico's biggest agri-food trading partner? Please put your answers in the chat box so I can know that you're here with me and to have more ideas. America. Yes, Tom. USA. Perfect. Thank you for your participation. Next slide. As a matter of fact, yes. The top trading partner for Mexico is the US, and it's something for you to keep in mind. We're very influenced about what's coming from the US into the market. Of course, there would be products that you won't be able to compete with the US market, but there will be other niches that you could grasp that opportunity in Mexico. It's very important also in terms of trade that you know that Mexico has 12 free trade agreements with 46 countries. That means that we reach 2/3 of the global GDP. So another important fact is that we're members of the Pacific Alliance, a trading bloc that's comprises between Chile, Mexico, Colombia, and Peru. That's 230 million people. Just keep that in mind because we're a natural gateway to Latin America. I've seen examples that companies come into the market, start their operations in Mexico. They see that the distributors are working well, and somehow they start looking to expand their operations from Mexico rather than going from the UK to other Latin American markets, taking advantage, of course, of the free trade agreement. So that's something for you to keep that in mind. Next slide, please. How about the UK-Mexico trade relationship? This is a very important slide for us at this stage. So on the 15th of December 2020, you can see there our ambassador and minister, former Minister of Economy, Graciela Marquez. UK and Mexico signed a trade continuity agreement. As we know, the UK exit from the EU posed a need for the UK to start signing new free trade agreements with different countries. So the continuity trade agreement was signed. However, the parliamentary and legislative process did not allow right away to get this agreement into force. So what's happening now? Right now, what we're having, in the meantime of the approval process, the UK is applying a provisional tariff preference to Mexican products, and Mexico has committed to establishing a tariff reimbursement mechanism once the agreement enters into force. So this is a very important fact for you to consider. we're hoping that this ratification of the trade continuity will come, will enter into force as soon as possible, hopefully early June, which gives us a good time for us, meaning us on the virtual Meet the Buyer, for the companies the Mexican companies to have more accuracy of what the trade relationship lies on. So keep this in mind in your conversations, and of course keep yourself updated on the gov.uk website to see if there's any news about anything updated between the trade relationship between UK and Mexico. Next slide, please. Okay, before I get you to the exciting information about what are the opportunities to come into the market, I will walk you through the different aspects that you would need to know to get into the market. So the first one is tariffs. Fortunately for us, we don't have to go through a registration process, well, depending on the product, of course, but as in other countries in Latin America, you will learn that there's a need to be a proper registration process within ministries. In Mexico, fortunately, we don't have that, but we have our tariffs, which are linked with on the former slide that I just explained. How are they determined? The HS code, and your partner with a customs agent will explain what's the right classification of your tariff. Please be aware that fairly recently, Mexico added two more digits into the tariff lines. The reason being to be more specific in certain products. So, for example, if there would be cheese, you won't go to other cheeses, to the HS code other cheeses, but you will go to a more specifics, cheddar, mozzarella, etc., to have a more classified tariff and allow in different process to be more efficient. This came into force fairly recently, so it the two new digits are called NICO, NICO. So you are aware of the term once that the importer or the customs agent explains this about. Okay, second thing, keeping on with taxes, almost all products pay VAT, which is 16%, 16%. And there's another special tax for products and services that will depend on the product of the amount of IEPS, that's the way we call it, that you pay. Whiskey, gin, beer, all of the spirits, depending on the amount of alcohol, they will pay this tax. For example, beer, it's 25.5%. For gin and whiskey, which are spirits with more than 20% of content of alcohol, it's 53%. And also, now that I'm speaking about alcohol, there are certain states within Mexico, within the 32 states that we have, that actually charge a state tax. For example, Mexico City is 4.5%. Yucatan, which is the state where you can find all of the recreational resorts in Cancun, Tulum, etc., it also pays 4.5%. But I've seen the registration of all of you and the companies. Sugar, very important. It depends on the amount of sugar that the product has, the amount of IEPS that it would pay. Please, if you have any questions, keep it in the radar, and I will answer them at the end. Next slide, please. Keeping on with the export process to Mexico, there are non-tariff barriers. Especially, I'm going to be referring here to animal products and meat products. So currently, and unfortunately for us in Mexico, because we can't taste the fabulous lamb that we have, or the pork or the beef in the UK, there's no access to the market. We need to go through a bilateral negotiation between the governments in order to agree on an export health certificate. I want to share very briefly how the pork process, which is one of that we've been working since 2017, yes, for almost 4 years, working on this in this bilateral negotiation. Fairly quickly, governments communicate the interest, UK communicates Mexico interest to have access to certain products. The Mexican agency, Senacica, which you can see there with a cow, will ask and request information about our bed controls, our processes, etc. Afterwards, they will be negotiating an export health certificate, but in parallel, there would be a negotiation for Mexican inspectors to visit the UK. I will have to say and share with you that we were very lucky that we were able to conduct the inspection process in early February 2020. 2020, and we came back safely. No COVID. COVID was right behind us, chasing us, but fortunately everything went well. We were very lucky, but the process is still going on. So you can imagine for other products that this is going to be long. I saw also there were companies in our list that there was a lot of proteins for health, this new trend of healthy living. These type of products will have to go to a registration in COFEPRIS, which is the agency that's the same agency as the US FDA, just to have for you to have an idea. We'll have to be very honest with you. It's a very bureaucratic process. We've been helping companies actually to get their registration there, not only from the food and drink sector. The health life sciences team has been doing a tremendous job with that agency in order to get the registration for the products that we need for this current emergency, and it's been a titanic, if I may say, job from our team. So that's a grasp on the non-tariff barriers that you will be facing in the country. Next slide, please. So the pandemic changed everything for everyone, especially for countries like Mexico that has the #1 diabetes in young children, and I think it was #2 on adults. So the government needed to do something around it, and it changed the NOM, which is states for norm, NOM 051, sorry, and this is about product labeling. So as you will see in the image, you will see these new hexagons that would need to go into the labels of the products. They will state excess of calories, excess of salt, contains trans fat, and excess of saturated fat, or if it contains some type of sugar that would be non-advisable for children, especially in pastries or candies. So this is something that would have to go in the front labeling. I know that in the UK we have a traffic light system, and that we already have that, but either way, the Mexico law requires that all of the products containing that type of content need to have that. How do you know what type of sticker do you need in your product? Well, your importer will be supporting you in in the process, in navigating that process, and when the product gets into the market, there's a specialized entity that will be checking the nutritional information and will state the stickers or labels that it would need. Also, it's important that for the government wanted to avoid somehow persuasive elements for children to get the product, and I will go to my examples in just a bit. There no cartoons, no animals are allowed in the products in order to persuade young children to get that product. Please be aware that at the moment they're allowed to have some stickers, but for the future these need to be in the package. No stickers will be allowed. So in the next slide, I will show you some examples of how these changed. Next slide, please. Thank you. So you will see that we have a very traditional pastry in Mexico that's called Bimbo. It's a very big company, which actually is already selling some fantastic bagels and salmas in the UK. So you will see that there's a bear, Bimbo Bear, which is very famous in Mexico. And in the right, you will see the new packaging, that it has the stickers, and there's no bear in the packaging. A very interesting story, very quickly to share, is that the company was smart enough to switch their marketing, and actually it partnered up with napkins in order to announce the Bimbo Bear with this new partnership. You know, when you children get their sandwich in school, the mothers wrap it up in a napkin, so that's the way they got it, the bear, so they could actually keep on recognizing the brand. I thought it was a very strategic way of doing. Another example here, you can see there's cheese. It's an imported cheese that you would probably recognize, and in the packaging it says excess of salt. So that's another example of how things are getting labeled in Mexico. And I saw a few chocolate companies, so I wanted to share this example. I know it doesn't look really nice, but you will see in the low part of the image that it already has the nutritional facts that comply with the local regulation. But since it's local regulation, I mean where it is produced, and the other stickers that states excess of calories, excess of sugars, excess of salt, etc. So keep that in mind. It's not for you to be a surprise that you need somehow to add something, apologies, into your label. Next slide, please. Okay. Now that I walk you through to do these very interesting and fantastic things about trade and labels, what about local partners? Like, what do I need to look specifically when I come to Mexico with my product? First of all, the company needs to be registered at the Treasury. That's very important to ensure that they have the proper registration within the government, meaning that they will also be registered in the import registry within the Treasury. The other thing that it's very good suggested is that your partner has experience in imports. It's preferably if they know about Europe, but experience in imports would be okay. registered, if your partner is registered in the main retailers or main liquor stores in Mexico, that will be great, because you would already have through them access to the different channels, and they for sure they will already have a relationship built with them. Something very important, and I'll be a few more minutes there. Your partner, your local partner is your team. Keep in mind that yes, in Mexico, we're aware about the high quality and prestige of the UK products, but as I mentioned before, the US is actually influencing a lot of the consumption of the products in the market. So you will need to support your partner with marketing materials, campaigns, something that will allow them to build a brand and actually build a consumer base that will allow to push the brand and keep them going in the market. I came across two different examples through my experience here in the office. I've seen companies that have actually been very supporting, providing marketing materials, banners, supporting with resources, half and half, or even giving away the full resources to conduct tastings in the supermarkets, or a heavy campaign with influencers that could actually gather more attention from the consumers into your brands. And they've been doing fantastic. And I've seen companies that they just get the done deal, and that's pretty much it. And almost, I will say, 80% of the brands that have done that, they haven't been performed as they were expecting in the market. And the main question to me is like, what did we do wrong? And that's exactly, there's nothing wrong that you did, but it's actually that you didn't support enough your partner. Keep in mind that there will be brands such as cider that, even though they're strongbow in the market, the way it's drank in Mexico, it's quite different. And I'm going to share you a little bit of insight there. So there's only one artisanal cider brand from the UK in Mexico, and the way since the company came into Mexico early in 2020. So the pandemic came, and there was not a possibility to actually do and promote activations within the consumers to explain how is it drunk in the UK. It's not only a December a seasonal beverage. You can also drink it in the summer, which is refreshing. But what happened is that the fruity ones, they were mixing them with Bacardi, because somehow they found it that it was attractive for the mixer. Of course, the beverage comes super strong, but somehow that's how it's been developing. So there's an opportunity there to actually develop and promote the way that cider is drunk in the UK. So next slide, please. Thank you. So now the exciting part of this presentation, the information that everyone wants to know, and actually understand, like, yes, Mexico is my market. I would like to go there. I would like to explore opportunities. So there's a high demand for UK spirits. Mexico is ranked as the 7th largest export destination for Scotch whiskey. Of course, there's a strong relationship between tequila and whiskey. There's interest. There's a lot of investment from the UK in the tequila industry, and that's how they intertwine here in the market. So Diageo, Willem Brand, Pernod Ricard, the big brands are present here, but there are also opportunities for niche products to come into the market. there was a boom on gin. However, somehow some of the companies I've been speaking to, they're not that open as they were in the past to take new brands, new gin brands, but they will do it if there's something unique within it. If it's niche, if it's high end, if it's high something that's value added. I've seen one company that produces, for example, non-alcoholic. Somehow this category is developing in the country with beer, which I will speak shortly, just to keep that in mind. So it's important to know from the spirits that are consumed or the alcohol that's consumed in the market, 95% of the alcohol that is consumed in the market is beer. As you will see in the image, that's a convenience store that says I don't have beer, which I found it quite amusing, because during the pandemic there was a shortage, because the government won't allow the production facilities to actually operate to COVID contamination. So that was, even though the craft beer market was actually performing at a good rate in Mexico, that actually boosted, and for those consumers that had the purchasing power to actually buy imported beer, that was like the great opportunity for them to boost their sales in the market. I know three of the main importers that we work and support on beer. They actually had it to refill their containers and bring more product into Mexico, because they were performing excellent last year. And the other point is that even though the pandemic posed a difficult economic situation around the world, the growing upper middle class is still boosting the demand for premium products. What do I mean for premium products? Very niche, like cheeses, seasonings, dressings, something that makes the cooking unique and has something that distinguishes that's an imported product. Next slide, please. Other opportunities, as I mentioned before, the healthy living market, but please be aware that it's more of an added value. Yes, I know that there's a trend to more organic, more healthy, but please keep in mind that almost all of the fresh products we produce it here in Mexico, so that will be a no-go opportunity from the UK to bring fresh products into the market. We already have that. But what I mean here is like the products like the proteins, vegan products, without meat, that actually are giving a different option to vegetarian people, and also to people that somehow want to transition their diets to a different way of eating. High-end products, of course, we have in the UK fantastic salmons, fantastic cheeses. Cheese producers, I'm eager to bring your product into the market. I just had one example that it came to the market, but then again, there was no introduction in how to eat it, and it was not that successful as it was expected. So in this particular example, we eat soft cheese, not hard cheese. So we need to educate more the consumer on how to mix the different flavors and products that we have in the UK. Fantastic ones, by the way. And of course, the e-commerce. I will explain more of the opportunity that actually we're currently working to bring more and tackle a little bit the bureaucracy that's in every part of the world on getting your product into retailers. And this e-commerce gives you the opportunity to give to go directly to the consumer. And an interesting fact is that Mercado Libre partnered up with Soriana, which is the second biggest retailer in the market, to develop their marketplace. So as you can see, Mexico, the pandemic actually make it fast track into e-commerce. We were there in the sense that you still hear me?
Yeah, we sure can.
Yeah, sorry about that. And we were there in the e-commerce, but actually the pandemic boosted everything over here. Next slide, please. Okay, so
Hi, Anna, we seem to have lost sound from you. Hi, sorry about this, everyone. We seem to be having a small technical issue with Anna. We'll just try and resolve this, and she'll be online shortly. Thank you for your patience.
sorry, I don't know what happened. Okay,
Fantastic.
so okay, I'm back here. Activities. So our focus. Please, this is very important for you to know, because I don't want anyone to get a disappointment on this. We support companies that have ready to for the consumer products. Unfortunately, we don't have the resources to actually focus more on the on the on the on the input side of the food and drink production industry, meaning for example, baking soda or any like type of confectionery that goes into a donut or things like that. We would need, if that is your case, we will appoint you to consultancy firm to support you and to gather more information of what's the potential in Mexico for your product. We've developed food in terms of marketing. We developed a food and drink campaign, as you can see to the right, with retailers.mx, in which we explain more about the capabilities that we have, and we aim to educate the consumer and the importers and distributors in Mexico to know more about cider, wine. Wine was a surprise. We received a lot of inquiries requesting, like, they were really surprised about the fact that we have fantastic wines in the UK. Of course, that's why we're here on the Knowledge Days and the Virtual Meet the Buyer, that we are really keen that you're participating and actually connecting with Mexican companies. And even though last week the recruitment process for the e-commerce project that we're developing was closed, I do encourage you that if you want to participate, to send me an email, and so I can share with you the link so you can register into this project fairly quickly, so we can have a Q&A session. This project, where the IT is supporting, what I mean supporting is that we're providing resources for the marketing campaign of this project, is that we're building a British boutique store in Mercado Libre, which is one of the fastest growing marketplaces in Mexico. So an importer and its consultancy firm for e-commerce, it's gonna take it's gonna support the companies to get the product into the market. It's gonna be like a 24 bottles box trial to to Mexico, and they will be posting that in the online marketplace. So we're hoping to gather a good amount of. We already have a good amount of British produce, but if you still aim to join, please do contact me so I can share more of the details. And next slide, I think. Thank you for your attention. I hope that was not too much information, and I'm ready for the Q&A.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Anna, for all of the information and sharing all of your knowledge with us today. So we've had quite a few questions come in. So I'm going to start with COVID. We have seen hospitality really hit, and today it's just opening here in the UK. What's the situation in Mexico, and is there a roadmap if needed?
Thank you. I was really expecting that question. Yeah, I'm aware that in the UK just opened today. Over here in Mexico, it's quite. Sorry about that. My dog seems that he wants to participate as well in the webinar. So we have a traffic light system, and depending on the. Apologize for that. And depending on the light that traffic light that we are. Please give me 1 second.
It won't be long until we can do some real life events, fingers crossed. We might not have our pets join us. Just give us a few more seconds and then Anna will be back with us. Thank you. If you have got any more questions, if you could put them into the Q&A tab, you'll find that on the right-hand side of your screen, or if you put it into the chat and you can direct it to myself, which is DITSW Events, so the host. Thank you very much.
Apologies for that.
No problem.
Home office issues. Yes, as I was saying, you were asking about the bars and restaurants. So it depends on the traffic light system, how open they are. Right now, for example, in the state of Jalisco, yes, we're open in Mexico City as well, but only to 50% of capacity. It's recovering little by little, but actually that was something that the bars and restaurants were actually pushing a lot for the government to open, because they wouldn't be able to survive. So that's how they managed somehow to lobby the government and open the facilities in Mexico.
Thank you very much. Is alcohol-free products zero rated tax, sorry?
As I mentioned, this is a very new trend. We've been speaking with customs agents to know how they would classify it. I will have to come back to you with an answer. I'm not sure about that.
No problem. Is there an IEPS on cider?
You mean yes, IEPS?
Yeah.
Yes, there is. It would be 26.3%, if I'm not mistaken. Because it has alcohol.
Are there plans for the new labelling regulations to be consistent across all markets in the Pacific Alliance, or will they continue to be specific on each market?
No, unfortunately, I really wish I could say yes, I'm positive about it, but no. We'll see. This is something that I've mentioned. That this is something that I've mentioned to our trade policy team, that to consider about and into the new negotiation, to see if there's a way that we can somehow like put a general guidelines through the CPTPP. But I have to say it's going to be something that's going to be difficult. Each country has its regulation on that.
Perfect. Does the size of the panel is standard across all products? On the side of it seems the same size regardless of the size of the package?
You mean the size of the hexagons? That's what they
I think
refer
so,
to?
yes.
Yeah, so yeah. Yeah. That's something that in the NOM they state the size of the labels. So sometimes I have to say that there's products that look horrible.
Okay, so there's a company that got pictures of a horse and a camel on the side of their alcohol-free adult drinks. Would the pictures be okay to be sold?
I would need to. That's something that your importer could advise you. I'm not sure what are the regulations for that.
Okay. Do you fear that NOM 51 might drive away interest in the market from exporters, especially niche products, brands, as importers might be unable to meet the MOQ for bespoke label?
To be very honest, we've already been facing some problems with that. That's actually discouraging some companies to come into the market. But luckily, the importers in over here are very creative, and they find some ways in actually to be able to somehow package over here, if that's something that's cost effective, of course.
Perfect. Will we be sent a copy of the presentation so that I can share with my team? Yes, you will. Perfect. I can answer that one. We sell food and drink online. Do you have any contacts for e-commerce/distributors?
Please contact me offline so I can know more of your company and see what we can do for you.
Yep. Mexico was, that's the same question, pretty much. For the wine industry, do they pay the same tax as beer?
I think, yes, I think they do. Wine also pays IEPS, yes. Also, please, I know that I have some wine producers there. Please do contact me because I wanted to know if you want to make a partnership with a Mexican company in order to exchange your wine, so we can have British wine into the market and Mexican wine into the UK. That could be a win-win situation for everyone.
Perfect. What is the market like in Mexico with CBD products?
That's a very interesting question because I saw your product. Because I went through the registration and I saw it. Yes, it's a market that's developing. It's something that's allowed, and there's actually heavy legislation on those products that are allowed to be sold into the market. It's an interesting case. Your company. I will gather more information because I have to say it's the first company that approaches us with that type of product.
So what is the general trend for drinking non-alcoholic beverages in Mexico?
It's mainly beer, Heineken and Corona, which are one of the top beer companies in Mexico. Actually, they have developed their non-alcoholic brands, and that's what's pushing the demand for that. So that's the way that it's getting into. I'm really keen, to be very honest. I'm really keen to see the more cocktails into that trend that will mocktails that will allow our UK products to come into the market.
So another alcohol-free company is, do we need an appointed agent prior to importing?
Yes, I think that's something that I need to clarify. Yes, you need, normally it's a distributor/importer that actually would bring your product into the market for everyone.
Thank you. There is a lot of questions coming in. We like it. So what is the best way to find a distribution partner in Mexico?
Contact us and we will be happy to support you.
How well would a tequila flavored non-alcoholic cider go down with the Mexican consumer?
I think they will have a problem because tequila is the geographic GI. It's called in the UK. So actually, the tequila industry is having currently a fight with one of the biggest beer companies in the country because they wanted to sell a brand that's tequila tequila beer, because actually there's people that drink tequila and a beer separately. They wanted to build something that's ensembled, but the industry is heavily pushing not to allow that because it's against the geographical indicator.
Perfect. Can we have your contact details, please? As long as that's all right with you, Anna, we'll one of the team will put it into the chat now so everyone can see it. Yep.
Yeah, the FCO address, please.
Yep, perfect. Just seeing, we've had a few more that have come in. So again, how do we contact you? Is there a demand for functional drinks, not just energy drinks, but RTD protein and RTD coffee?
It's growing in a very slow pace, of course, driven by the US. And also it depends on the content of your product, how long will it take to get into the market? Because as I've said, it needs to be more, it needs to go through a registration to COFEPRIS.
What is the need for canned whiskey and gin?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. We're going to start. Very interesting question. Thank you. I'm actually keen to bring those products, but the thing that actually is not allowing those products to get into the market, it's the IEPS, the tax that you pay, and actually the volume. In terms of volume, you need to bring high volumes to get a good return of your investment to you and to your importers. So I've been actually socializing this idea to the importers, but somehow they're not really convinced yet to get those products into the market.
Perfect.
Let me add something. There's a boom on hard seltzers, and that's how somehow other mixed drinks are getting into that area of canning.
Perfect. Just seeing if we've got any more questions that are coming in.
Please, the company of CBD. I'm really interested to know more on your product and see if there's an opportunity to develop. I'm interested in that.
Perfect. We're just putting Anna's email address in the chat now. So is there... How much money should brand owners invest to launch a brand in Mexico?
That will depend on the plan that you agree on with your partner. To be honest, sometimes they go 50-50 on marketing. That would totally depend on the agreement that you get with your partner in Mexico locally.
Is there a growing interest in environmentally conscious products in Mexico?
Yes, but not as in the UK. There is an environmentally consciousness going on, but just be aware that those types of products are very niche because are expensive, and only a very small amount of the population would be able to buy them.
Perfect. So I think that has answered all the questions. I've got one more question actually, which is if you were to give, let's say, 3 top tips to companies who want to get into Mexico, what would be your 3 top tips for them?
Patience, perseverance, and the last one would be more patience. Yeah, to be very honest with everyone, you would find that it's a very way of doing business over here. Sometimes I get a lot of companies that are really frustrated because they don't receive the amount of response as they expect. But that's the way the business environment is over here. You need to be very patient, very persuasive, look to different ways of contacting to your partner business. It's a lot done through WhatsApp, and that's the way people contact each other. So I think my top two, I mean, you requested three, but my top two would be patience and perseverance. So that's why we're here. Sometimes, even though we made introductions, or you see that the partner that you find in your research is not actually responding, we're here to, and more than happy to support you and actually navigate to this cultural thing of not responding emails. And you know that the introduction just accompanied knocking the door and saying I'm from the British Embassy in Mexico. It actually puts us in a very good position to actually attract attention.
So I've actually got two more questions, and that'll be it for today. So are there certain geographic areas where premium food and drink brands might have more success?
Can you repeat the question for me?
Are there certain geographic areas in Mexico where premium food and drink brands might have more success?
Yes, that will be the main cities in the country, which have specialized stores such as Mexico City, Monterrey, Guadalajara, and of course, if your product is directed to hospitality, the touristic areas in up north in Baja, on the southwest in Cancun, and here in the fantastic beach of Puerto Vallarta.
And also the last one is the Great British Food Programme supporting the market entry and e-commerce into Mexico?
Yes, actually, this is an initiative that we've requested all of the regions, not only the Great British Food Programme, but all of the regions to participate and to socialize this information with the companies in the regions in order to bring them this way to the market.
Fantastic. Anna, thank you so much for today. Thank you for answering all of the questions, and thank you for giving up your time to talk to us about Mexico and to help all the companies out. From myself, Business West, the Department for International Trade, the Great British Food Programme, thank you everyone for joining us, and we hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be with all of you.
Thank you, Anna.